Good morning and welcome to Mr. Boo. I am Mr. Boo. Today is kind of going to be a special day. Today we're upgrading the fuel pump components on Mr. Boo, my Subaru Forester XT 2011, and we're going to do an instructional video on how to do that because it isn't really out there specific to my model, and I feel like it would be really beneficial for people like me who are visual learners. Not every setup is going to be the exact same. Not every car is going to be the exact same. This will also work for the 2008 to 2014 WRX and I believe a couple of other models possibly. And my setup is going to be maybe a little bit different than from what you choose, and that's why it's really important to go on their website. I'll link it in the description. Just read through, see what you're going to need for your setup. And so I definitely advise going over to their website and just looking around for your specific model and going in the instructions just to make sure. So this is the pump setup. It's a little bit apart just because I've been looking at it. It comes originally set up specifically just for one pump, so you see the second pump is capped off. It comes with the electrical needed to hook up your stock electrical wires to the unit, and it also comes with a setup ready for hooking up a second pump. You can purchase enough hoses with the 6AN connectors to go from your main side and back to your secondary side, and then it will hook up to the stock lines that will go to the fuel rails. It comes with all of the adapters needed for a single or double setup. Accessories that I also bought were the fuel pump socks. I bought 2 of them. These are recommended specifically by Radium. This is the pressure switch that is going to sense how much boost is being made in the car. It'll send information back to a relay, and that will trigger the second fuel pump to engage. Since we are going to be messing with electrical and fuel, or even almost a good measure to take when working on your car at any point, just remove the negative battery cable. Okay, next you want to take the rear seat out. My rear seat has been out for a couple of weeks now, but you remove, for my specific model, you flip up the cup holders. Underneath there is a little plastic tray. You pop that up. There's 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you pop on either side of the seat, and then it comes right up. Then after that, we'll want to remove the covers. The cover over there is already removed, so we just need to remove this cover. And they each have 4 Phillips head screws. Next, we need to remove the fuel pump lines. There's 3 of them. And how you do that is, they make special tools, but an easy way is pinch and pull. Pinch and pull. Get the other side to do it at the same time. And then just push it off. And that's it. And then after that, there's 8 nuts on studs that surround the fuel pump. They're 8mm in size. Okay, so the next step can get a little bit messy if you haven't done it. And also, even if you have and the tank is full, so your best option is to get a clean oil pan or any large pan that will fit your fuel pump, and just get it ready, because there is when you go to pull the fuel pump out, there is a fuel level lever that hangs off of the bottom and can tend to get caught up and make you spill all over. So the more you have done it, the easier it becomes. So let's just do it. To get this off, what you do is you remove this line over here, this fuel line over here, and then you slide it out and over and then up and around. And that tends to work the easiest for me. So this part you just kind of yank and pray. This is the little fuel level bit that I was telling you about. Now, since I cleaned mine out, I cleaned my fuel pan out, this is clean. I'm gonna dump the fuel in here and then dump it back into the tank, just so that I have less spilling around later when I take this apart. I will show you in the car as well, but my fuel pump is going to look a little bit different than the average fuel pump, as I have done a couple of altercations. I've already placed a hardwire kit and also a bypass kit. It also has a basket. I won't say the brand of it, but it has a basket. So what we need to do next is remove this wire. We're going to press up. There's this little tab right here. We're going to press up and push it up. This is the fuel temperature and the fuel level. So this is going to go over on our new basket. So if you need to take apart your basket, it will be kind of similar if yours is OEM, but there's 4 tabs, and basically you just need to pry and push up, and just continue around until you'll feel it finally loosen up for good, and that's how you get that out. I'm going to take my fuel pump, one of my fuel pumps out, so that we can install it into the new fuel pump. But that's going to look completely different for mine, being that I have an aftermarket fuel basket. I'm going to reuse my gasket because it is brand new, and there's just no point in using it again. So if you are doing that, you will need to take this off before you move on to all the new parts. This might not apply to you, but I figured I would go ahead and give a little bit of information. So I'm hooking up my second pump, so I need to take an Allen key that fits there, undo that. This adapter came with it. I need to lubricate the O-ring, put that down there, make it nice and snug, and then on the underside, just to duplicate like this right there, they've supplied another piece of hose and then 2 clamps. And then just like the positive and the negative terminals that are on pump 1, we're going to do the same thing with the supplied wire right here, positive and negative to positive and negative. and then we can move on to pump installation. So the cap that was on there is a 6mm. It is not held on with a ton of force, doesn't take much to hold seal. And then to tighten it on there, it is a 19mm socket. And just snug. Does not have to be anything more than that. Okay, everything is ready for the fuel pumps to be installed. So basically it's just plug them up, put it in there, tighten it down, make sure that it's all aligned out for both pumps. Make sure you put the right pump on the right one if you want a specific one. I do, because I want the new one on one side and the used one on the other. So while you have this off, it is definitely very much recommended and easier to pull this off while you install the fuel pumps. This is your temperature sensor. If your vehicle is equipped with one, you just put it right there, and then there's 4 little slots. You can see my blue showing through. That's exactly where you put the zip ties that they give you. It will look exactly like that once you get done. Okay, we are almost done with the setup. It's looking good so far. Everything's going pretty well. It's some snug spaces for sure. So we're going to take their supplied connectors and splice these off and connect them to the connector. For the fuel level unit, we also need to cut the fuel temperature sensor wires and then crimp on the supplied connectors. Hook them to the bottom of the fuel temperature side. And then the other side we will hook to the bottom of the fuel level side. So there is no polarity, so it doesn't matter which one gets hooked to which one. Do not forget to install the fuel pump socks after putting the fuel pumps in and getting everything in place. Make sure to order the correct ones. They're the ones that Radium suggests, because other ones usually have some type of meshwork that is not very movable. This one is built specifically for their housing. And then you put the basket in, it's ready to go. Make sure all your wiring's nice and connected and neat, not going to get in the way. It only goes in there one way, so you don't really have to worry about that. And then you just slide this on, slide that down, and then you put the remaining screws in. There's 3 on this side and 2 on the other. Get them finger tight, and then tighten them down with your 3mm Allen wrench. Don't tighten them up so much that you will not be able to line up the holes on the other side. They should be very close anyways. The hose that has a 90-degree connection and no connection on the other tip is the return hose. That's going to connect on the other side. The 90-degree is going to go on the other end. Okay, I just got the wiring done. Let me explain to you a little bit of what's going on. This is your original plug, okay? Normally there will be these two green wires. Those two green wires are what you would normally see right here. These have just been capped off because I had the hardwire kit, and then you'll have 4 other wires. 2 being for the fuel temperature and 2 being for the fuel level. You have to take those 4 wires. For my specific model, it was blue and black for the fuel level, and then white and black and yellow and blue for the fuel temperature. Now remember, there's no polarity in those, so it doesn't really matter which one goes where. If you were running a single pump and you were running direct power from the car, you would take these wires and hook them up on the positive and negative on pump 1. Now for wiring these, you take the supplied crimps with the little O-ring, and you just crimp it on there. You use the supplied heat wrap, and you heat wrap it, and then you just put it right on there. You tighten the castle nut down. They come with a bunch of castle nuts for all of these. I have a hardwire kit, so I'll show you a little bit of how that goes. So I have 2 power wires coming to, that's the ground. Okay, so I have these 2 hard wires that are power, and these 2 that are ground. One is ground right here, one's ground at the back of the car. One goes directly to pump 2, positive, negative. The other one goes to pump 1. That's the basics of the wiring. Pretty simple, especially if you're just using the wiring from the car. Very, very simple. If you are not confident in it, you should probably have a professional do, because it is wiring. It is pretty important, and you can mess stuff up. So now we take these little connectors along with the aluminum securement and this little tiny Allen screw, 2mm. You can just take your Allen screw, get just a dab of oil, lubricate those O-rings on the inside there. That should be plenty. I'll go ahead and take this one off. Also, get thicker gloves. I got these because they were the cheapest with my discount. Normally I get the thicker ones, but I was like trying to save $1. Should not have saved $1. And I know that, but I did it anyways. Now make sure that you know which lines are which ones. I know, because I've already been playing with them, that this is the return. Okay, so that's gonna go on here. Look at that, that's genius. I like it. That's a very cool design. Okay. Then we'll take the only remaining one. Unplug it, strip it out of there. Oh, that's the return. And if you haven't already, make sure to lubricate those O-rings. Okay. Just slips on beautifully like that. Okay. And that's a wrap. Now it's just to put everything back together. When you pull these lines through, there are basically little channels that all of them sit and they kind of clamp together and hold. You have to like break those loose in order to get the old ones out. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too challenging. To tighten these up, you need a 19mm for this end and an 18mm for this end. And then you just remove the little clip that goes right there that the OE wire goes to, and then you put this, you butt it up against, and it'll go right up against the little rail, and then you put this little green holder down, and then you tighten these down. Those are pretty easy to do. So now all we need to do is to verify that there are no leaks. I've already started and ran the car a bit, and there has not been any leaks yet, but obviously you want to do it a bit more. Fuel pressure has been, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely an extremely tight fit, especially when it comes to this. I would definitely make sure to put this together. Put these two in. Don't put this all in as one unit. You really need to put it in separately. So the reason why I haven't showed about the electrical much is because it is it's from iWire. It's not a Radium product. I bought the car with a hardwire kit already in it, and it was an iWire kit. And to simplify things, they sell the relay and everything that plugs into their original kit that's set up for up to 2 fuel pumps. So I just figured it would be a lot easier to just use their plugs. Literally, I just had to plug this in, plug this yellow one in for power. This is the power line. The ground is grounded to one of the seat bolts up there. And then this is the trigger wire, essentially, that goes to, that traces all the way up, traces up the car. It goes up and into the fender well, and then straight in to under the hood of the car. So it is that single wire right there. There's the ground for it. They both go to right here. There's the pressure trigger switch. Now this is from Radium. They do recommend that you drill this into the intake. However, that's a plastic intake. So my tuner did not want me to drill into the plastic intake. He wanted me to use the line that we had previously used for the boost gauge. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up, please. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you can get notified when my new videos come out. If you guys have any questions, please hit the comments below. And if you guys want to check out what you'll need, go over to radiumauto.com. They have all the instructional forms. Literally everything is just right there, right exactly what you need. Go hit them up. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next video.